Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I am bringing you my final little 2021 wrapped up plans for 22 video, and that is 22 books that I want to read in 2022. Now, a lot of these books are me trying to finish off series because I realised when looking back at my 2021 books that I wanted to read, I only read about 5 of them. Hopefully I can do better this year, not too sure, but I'm going to make this video anyways. I was going to do a reacting video to my 2021 books, but there is literally no point because I have not read a vast majority of those books. I think, like I said, I think I've read maybe about 4 or 5, and it's a little bit ridiculous. So hopefully this year will go better. Like I said, I'm trying to finish off or catch up with series. So let's get straight on into the 22 books that I want to read this year. So the first book is going to be Heir of Fire by Sarah J Maas. This is the 3rd book, technically, in the Throne of Glass read along, so I am counting the rest of the books as my 5, including this one, and I'll explain that a little bit. So I've technically got 6 books left, including the Assassin's Blade, but I've already read the Assassin's Blade previously when I tried to read this series. So the 5 that I'm including from this is Heir of Fire, because I'm meant to be reading it in January anyways, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, and Kingdom of Ash. I will read Assassin's Blade as well when it comes up in the read along, but I have not read any of the other books once yet, so that is why they're being counted in this list. So that's a nice easy 5 books down, hopefully, that I will read in 2022. Moving on to some trilogies that I need to finish. The first up is one that was featured in my worst books of the year, and that is the remaining 2 books in the Shadow and Bone trilogy, so Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising. I have no real motivation to read these, so I thought adding them to this list would make me a little bit more motivated to read these books. Not sure how that's going to go, but we're going to try. We're going to see how it goes, and hopefully I will enjoy this a bit. I don't really know. I'm sure I will if something actually happens in the first book, but keep up with my vlogs, and when I eventually get to them, you'll find out what my feelings are about them. I then want to also finish the Farseer Trilogy at least, which is Royal Assassin and Assassin's Quest. So these are the other 2 books in the Farseer Trilogy. I've already read Assassin's Apprentice. I was meant to read Royal Assassin in December, didn't get around to finishing it. I'm meant to be reading this month. It's not going particularly well, I'll give you a hint about that, but I'm going to read them. I'm not going to force myself to read them all this month if I can't, which I honestly don't think I can, but I do want to at least finish this trilogy and then just slowly plod on with the rest of the books in this expansive series, and hopefully I will carry on enjoying them because I'm enjoying this one a lot more than the first book already, so that is already a plus for me. Then I also want to finish Finale, which again is on my January TBR, which I have filmed and already uploaded, so if you want to see that, I'll link that up here for you. It was a collab with Sam from Sam Talks Books. Currently I'm letting her down because as I'm filming this, I haven't actually completed any of the books in that video, but I'm sure I can turn some of that around. But this is the finale book in the Caraval trilogy, and I've been meaning to read this for ages. I don't think I read the first 2 books consecutively, but I definitely did enjoy them. The second one was a bit better than the first one, but I love the storytelling. I love the way Stephanie Garber writes, so I cannot wait to see what happens in the final book and who we're following. And then I'm going to move on to Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is her new book and her new series, and I'm super excited for that. So I need to get a move on with this one. I also want to finish the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy as it currently stands. I have already started A Gathering of Shadows, but I haven't got very far and I haven't finished it, obviously. But I don't want to include that here because I've already started it. I don't know if my logic is a bit wacky today, but I'm not including it. So this is the final book in the trilogy, so I'm including it in this list to give me the push to read the second one and then get onto this. And I need to finish this because Kate needs me to carry on so that she can find out how I feel about this one. So again, I'm really sorry, Kate. I have fallen behind, and I don't know why, because I really enjoyed the first book. So there you go. another trilogy I want to complete. I have to say, a lot of these books are actually trilogies on this list, but anyways, I digress. Next up is Kingdom of the Cursed. This is the sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked. This is the stunning Fairy Loot edition. I really loved the first book. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I loved the first book. I loved all of the talk of food and the Italian culture, and I listened to it audibly, so I really enjoyed it that way as well. I want to read the second book physically. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I am really looking forward to this, seeing where Emilia goes and where Wrath goes, and I've heard some fantastic things, so I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I need to get to it soon. This trilogy I've been meaning to finish for the longest time, so much that I've read the first book twice now, and that is the Poppy War, so I need to finish the Dragon Republic and the Burning God. These are the Illumicrate editions, and they're so pretty. But these are on my list because I need the kick up the butt to move on and actually carry on with this series. I wanted to finish this series before this came out, like well over a year ago, I'm pretty sure. Didn't happen, so that's fun, and I am now really behind, and R.F. Kuang has got a new book called Babel coming out this year, so although obviously not set in the same world, I do want to close off one trilogy before I move on to her new trilogy, so we'll just have to see what happens with that. But I also know that this is going to be really hard hitting the further I get into it, and I know I'm going to need a break in between. So I should really get a move on with reading the Dragon Republic at this end of the year, so I can read the Burning God later on in the year once I've had a break to maybe rejig my happy hormones. This is the only arc that I've got on this list, and I talk about it constantly. This is The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is the arc that I won on Twitter. If you haven't seen any of my videos, you might not know that, but if you have, I consistently say that. I want to read this because I've got the finished copy coming next month. I couldn't fit this on my TBR for January, so hopefully I can read it before it arrives, because I'm sure the hype for this is going to be amazing. This is like the next best thing, or it's pegged to be the next best thing. So I'm really looking forward to trying it out and seeing how I feel about it. It's also a really floppy paperback, so this is going to be so nice and easy to read. Can't wait. New world, new characters. Very excited to give this one a try. I then thought, after all of this fantasy, I should really add something light-hearted and possibly something that's going to be a little bit easier to read. So I have chosen to add Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune onto this list. This is the Illumicrate edition. It's so pretty. This is part of, I think it's called like the Happy Trilogy or something, which I didn't know, and essentially the trilogy is made up of this, A House in the Cerulean Sea, and another book which is coming out at some point, and hopefully Illumicrate do it in this style because I would love that. But they're not fully tied together, they're just meant to be like heartwarming stories, I think, and I am hoping that this is heartwarming because a lot of the books on this list are very serious and very hard-hitting and quite adult, and I kind of need something a little bit fluffier, although there is going to be sadness in this because obviously our main character is picked up from his funeral by the Reaper and he realises that he hasn't really lived his life. That's a bit sad, but it doesn't sound as hard-hitting as what the rest of the Farseer Trilogy is going to be like, or even any of the other adult books on this list. So I'm looking forward to giving this a go. I'm hoping it's as heartwarming and I enjoy it as much as I did The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I'm sure I will because I adored The House in the Cerulean Sea. The characters were fantastic. So hopefully I feel the same way about this, and hopefully it gives me a little bit of a respite from the heavy fantasy that I've already got on this list. I felt as though I had to include this book because I plan to read this in the month of January, and that is called From the North by D.W. Ross. I was very kindly sent a copy of this book, so thank you very much, from the author, and I am really looking forward to giving this a try. So this is Norse fantasy. It sounds incredible. Like I said, I'm already failing my January TBR, but hopefully I can get to this one and that won't be a problem. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving this a go. I was meant to start this actually this week, but I just have been a little bit hectic as this is the week between me finishing a job and me starting a new job. So I will get to this. Hopefully I might start this weekend, so we shall see. Keep an eye on my vlogs and see what happens. But yes, very excited to get on to this book. I am then going to include a full trilogy, and that is the Jade War Trilogy, and I'm holding it really awkwardly because I don't know why. But this is 3 books to add to my 22 list. So Jade City, Jade War and Jade Legacy. These are the Illumicrate editions and they are stunning. I really want to read this trilogy. I've seen people cry at the last book and I want to know why. So that is essentially why I've got this. I also bought this because I meant to read the first book a little while ago, because I do actually own a normal edition and I haven't. So hopefully reading the special editions will give me, you know, that kick I need to get these done. But 3 books down and 2 books left to show you. My final 2 books are adult, and both are very hyped for different reasons. So the first one is Dune. This is the Waterstones exclusive, which is what made me buy this book, if I'm completely honest. I've been looking at it for a while. The movie has come out, I haven't seen it, but the fact that the movie has obviously happened and there's a resurgence in this, I want to know why. So I plan to read this at some point this year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing why everyone loves this book so much. I'm looking forward to giving it a go and seeing how I feel about it, because I'm getting more into adult fantasy, as you may have noticed by the choices in this compared to my choices in last year's. There's a lot less YA in this and a lot more adult, so I think this list is quite a good list for me. It's a nice mix, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to giving this a go. And then finally, I need to read this because the sequel comes out this year, and that is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I was really hyped for this last year when it came out, and like usual, I didn't read it. So I plan to read this year and just see how I go with it. I don't know an awful lot about it. Again, Norse mythology, fantasy kind of thing. There's a dragon on the cover, drew me in. The next cover has got a really big dog on it, and that also looks fantastic, and it's called The Hunger of the Gods, and I need to order a signed edition from the Broken Binding sooner rather than later. But yeah, this is my final book. This is my 22nd book that I want to read. I keep meaning to read it. Hopefully this will give me the kick I need to actually read it. So there you go. There are my 22 books that I want to read in 2022. Hopefully I actually achieve this list this year compared to my last one. There are some honourable mentions. I would love to read Empire of the Vampire. I would love to read House of Sky and Breath, which I will hopefully be reading straight away after I have read Crescent City, which is on my shelf there. I would also love to, if I manage to finish the Grishaverse trilogy, I would love to go on to King of Scars and Rule of Wolves to try and tie them up. I'd love to get into my Cassandra Clare books. There are so many books that I want to read, but I've tried to narrow it down. I've also narrowed it down predominantly to books I actually own, so I can clear my own TBR. Yes, I will be buying at least 4 more books to complete this list, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad. I had originally planned to make this a lot of pre-orders and that sort of thing, but I need to clear my backlist so much, so that is why a lot of these are books that I've received in 2021, but now they're technically backlist because we're in 2022. They've been on my shelves for a little while, so I just want to get through them. But there you go, that is everything for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment below of a book you think that you want to get to in 2022, could be anything, and let me know if you think I should read it as well. I have noticed that this list is predominantly fantasy, like actually I think it is all fantasy. I haven't included any of like my mystery thrillers or anything, so we'll see if I read any of them at the end of the year. Maybe at the end of this year I'll look more at my stats than I have done for this wrap up. Let me know as well if that is something you'd be interested in. And if you don't want to leave me a full comment and you just want to leave me an emoji, just pick any. I'm not massively fussed, just pick any. This is the final video in my wrap up series, so I hope you have enjoyed it. If you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing down below and ring that notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload new videos. I'll be back again tomorrow with a vlog, and then I will be back on Wednesdays and Sundays for more bookish content from me, so make sure you stick around if you want to see any of it. And that is it for today's video, so I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow for another vlog. And I hope you've enjoyed this little mini series that I've done. Apparently uploading every single day for a week seems to be my current thing, and I'm gonna try and cut that because sometimes this is stressful, and doing this with a full-time job doesn't necessarily work, so I need to kind of lower my expectations a little bit. But Wednesdays and Sundays will be back from next week, so I hope to see you then. I hope you have an amazing weekend, whatever you're having, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!